So now let's talk about Bitcoin briefly. Bitcoin's doing exactly what we said it was going to do. That doesn't always happen, but it just so happens that what we said in yesterday's analysis seems to be playing out almost exactly. We have a channel here, okay, and we are calling this a distributive channel because we're anticipating that once the up and down price action of this channel is complete, we're eventually going to break down from this channel, okay? Hello everyone, my name is Dean, let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the prices of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is December 23rd, 2023. And it's finally happening. I'm referring to the epic altcoin breakout that we've been waiting for so long for is finally happening, okay? I understand that some altcoins have already pumped. Others, most have yet to, and I can tell you from my analysis from the charts why that is. If that sounds interesting to you, then watch until the very end. This is going to be an update on yesterday's video, okay? So I'm not going to rehash all of that analysis, but I'm going to update with what has just happened recently in the charts. So let's start off with the total 2 chart, which is basically the aggregate altcoin chart, okay? So basically all the altcoins in the cryptocurrency space mashed together in one chart. This is that chart, okay? And again, this is a helpful chart because it gives you a general idea of what to expect, a general idea of what most altcoins are doing. And just like I said, most altcoins have been in this heinous 525-day accumulation channel, okay? Going up and down and up and down unpredictably for 525 days. Prior to that, they were in maybe 200 days of a downwards move. Let's see. 222 days of downwards movement, 500 plus days of sideways movement, all that together, 700 to 800 days of down and sideways price action. So you're just now experiencing some movement to the upside in this move, okay? And this is what we've been waiting for, basically a breakout of this 525-day consolidation, which we're clearly and convincingly getting now. The next likely target or the next significant resistance is this green line, the $1 trillion mark. If you watch my work, I've been talking about this $1 trillion mark for altcoins for quite some time, but it's taken us quite some time to break out. And even when we did break out, we still had to have some consolidation above the break, above the significant resistance. Now, is this $1 trillion mark the end of the road? Not necessarily, but I would be very cautious once we get there, okay? And I'm going to rehash this analysis because it's very apropos. I think it's relevant to what we're dealing with, right? Good trading, in my opinion, deals with knowing when to take profit, knowing when to get involved. All right, it's not a question of what, but when, right? We're trying to time the markets. So if a lot of people who trade these markets, these altcoins, get involved and do nothing once we hit that $1 trillion mark, and I don't know that this is going to happen, but there's a likelihood, there's a possibility, a probability rather, a rather high probability that once we hit the 0.618 of this entire move, 222 days to the downside, we are going to likely get a reaction at that 0.618 level, that phi ratio level. What happens at the phi ratio? When you're below it, it typically acts as resistance. When you're above it, it typically acts as support. Well, what is likely to happen is that we consolidate or distribute, or consolidate, go sideways, and we come all the way right back down to this level right here, because we will have essentially, if that does happen, retested that 525-day level of resistance as support. Okay, and again, I go back to the idea that if you take your Fibonacci retracement tool from the bottom of this move, right? Look at this move. Okay, let's zoom in. Guys, if you're getting value, please like, share, and subscribe. This is key. Okay, I understand a lot of people don't trade. A lot of people just buy and hold, which is completely fine. But even trading this on spot, meaning looking at the general high time frame signals and buying on high time frame, selling on high time frame signals, you make considerably more than if you were just to hands off. And I think it's useful to be able to read the markets to a certain extent. Very useful in general. In any case, if you're watching this, you probably agree. So if you take the length of this impulse right here, right, and you extrapolate that to our intended likely target of $1 trillion, look at what the retracement to the phi ratio would be. It would be almost to the penny right on top of this 525-day level of resistance. So again, there's so much confluence. I know I've shown this before. If you watch my work, you've seen this before, but it stands to repeat, because if this does indeed occur in the next coming days, that we do hit that $1 trillion mark, many people are going to think we're just going to continue to go. This is common. This is what most people believe. This is how markets work. This is market psychology. People think that a trend continues ad infinitum. There's no end. So they never sell, right? And then they always get caught, because at some point markets retrace. And why do we learn to do technical analysis, to read markets, is so we can be apprised as to when it's likely to retrace, when it's likely to break out, all that stuff. Again, phi ratios get responses, so it's unlikely that we break through that 0.618. It's more likely than not that once altcoins in aggregate reach this level, we consolidate and we come all the way back down to the 0.618, and that would also again satisfy this 525-day resistance as support, and then we continue. Okay, and I also think, and we're going to get to Bitcoin in a second, that move down from 1 trillion all the way back down to 665 billion in altcoins is going to be coincident with Bitcoin moving from where we're at now, the 45K level, 45K level, all the way back down to 38K. Okay, so again, it's going to take some time. I gave my time frame for Bitcoin doing that, to next year, late January, early February, something like that. I don't remember, but it's going to take some time. So that being said, you will have some time, right, to experience a distributive pattern here. And just like any other distributive pattern, it doesn't happen overnight. It's not just, oh, we get to this $1 trillion mark and then we just dump. No. You don't have to panic. You just have to realize and recognize that, okay, there's a likelihood that you're going to get some reaction here, and that reaction is going to generate a distributive channel of up and down price action, which will eventually break to the downside. Okay, so that's altcoins. This is what I'm looking out for. This is why I'm still keen on taking profit at this $1 trillion mark. Obviously, every altcoin should be treated individually, because this is an aggregate chart, meaning some altcoins are going to look just like this, others are going to deviate from this and continue to pump. Others are already on retracement, just like I've been talking about a Chainlink. So that's what I'm seeing. That's the update. Basically, the update is on the smaller time frame. If you haven't noticed, you're getting this breakout right now, like right as we speak. Look at this. Look at this. So we've been in an intra-wave consolidation. What's an intra-wave consolidation? It's basically what it means. Quite literally, you've gone up, and then within this impulse, within this move, you consolidate, and then you continue, consolidate. All these intra-wave consolidations, continue, intra-wave consolidation. Now you're just breaking out of this intra-wave consolidation, and that is reaching a level that you've never reached, okay, where you have quite a bit of space, okay? So up until now, you've been chopping up, but actually once you hit this level right here, you see there's a gap, of volume gap, where the price kind of just shot down from here, so it should, to balance out, shoot up. So don't be surprised if, although it took so long to get up until this level, the remaining bit to our target of $1 trillion happens relatively quickly, okay? So now let's talk about Bitcoin briefly. Bitcoin's doing exactly what we said it was going to do. That doesn't always happen, but it just so happens that what we said in yesterday's analysis seems to be playing out almost exactly. We have a channel here, okay, and we are calling this a distributive channel because we're anticipating that once the up and down price action of this channel is complete, we're eventually going to break down from this channel, okay? So looking at this, we said yesterday that we're likely in for one last move to test the top resistance of this channel, after which we'd start getting our move to the downside, okay? And that is going to be coincident with our first move down in altcoins from, more likely than not, the $1 trillion mark, but we don't know. We're just assuming. Okay, so we're just watching for Bitcoin. So while you're watching the altcoin chart, right, the total 2 chart, at the same time, I think it would be wise to watch Bitcoin, right, using Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency market at large. Make sure you're careful to track Bitcoin and see when it does get to this top resistance, because at this point you should be preparing to divest yourself of your positions, right? Because that's pretty much game over, because then you'd be looking to move back down in this channel and then eventually break it. And why did we think that that was happening? It's because we counted 2 degrees of AB basing and we had yet to put in a pivot. Excuse me. So this is the first degree, right? This is a pair of flat corrections. This is the second degree, okay? And so we're looking at a pivot like this, something like that, okay? Basically, we want 3 pairs of flat corrections. So that's what we're looking for. That's why we thought it's likely that the top of this channel got retested one more time. And then once we get to this top, you know, you should be a little more cautious with your altcoin trades. Speaking of which, some altcoins have pumped quite significantly. Others are in the process of pumping. But it's all happening. It's all actually happening, right? You can see some double-digit movers, like Litentry is a double-digit mover. You can see there's like an 8%. Stacks is an 8% mover. And this is just my small kind of watch list. All right, if we go to our general watch list, let's see. Any big movers? Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. Okay, you have a 40% mover in Glimmer. And see, I'm saying, just theoretically, using the total 2 chart, all that stuff, we should get this, that, and the third. Do you see what I'm talking about? Bitcoin's up like, what, 1-2%? Meanwhile, you have a 40% mover, a 25% mover. Once you see this, you know the party's getting started, okay? And it's really alt season. Last thing I'm going to say in this quick update is look at the Bitcoin dominance chart. This is exactly what you want to see. This is exactly what I was saying yesterday. Bitcoin dominance puking, going down, is telling you that altcoins are gaining against Bitcoin in market cap. That means altcoins are going to go up quite a bit, and Bitcoin may be stable, go up a little bit, but altcoins are going to go up quite a lot. Basically, altcoins are catching up. That's basically what's happening here. You can see that there's been a move of Bitcoin dominance going down, and it should continue. So that's beautiful. This is exactly what we want to see as investors in the altcoin space. So guys, very exciting, very cool. It's great. You know, there's euphoria in the altcoin market, generally speaking. If you look at, you know, these gains, right? Look, it's not something you see every day. It's not something we've seen in a very long time in general, in the general altcoin space. But understand also as investors, if you're trading, that the difference between winners and losers is winners know when to fold, when to take profits. And how do you know when to take profits? You look for your next likely resistance, you know, look for phi ratios, look for main resistance levels to take profit, because you're likely going to get a major retracement. And the biggest retracements are always, invariably, after first pumps, okay? Because those first pumps are corrective. And, you know, wave 2 is the biggest retracement of an 5-wave Elliott wave progression, right? So that's always the one you want to watch out for. And then there's also some altcoins that are going to do a simple, you know, flat correction retracement, which is retracing almost 100% or 78.6% of that move. So anyway, you guys get the gist. I hope this was helpful. If this was useful, like, share, and subscribe if you got value, and I'll see you next time.
The